Hi all, if you want to learn SAP APO, demand planning and supply network planning with BW and SIF, we will give you all recorded sessions so you can be able to learn at your own pace. Write to me if you're interested at the rate onlinesapapo@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.
This session is going to cover the demand planning overview. So in this presentation, we are going to cover why we need a demand planning, and in the APO demand planning, how it is going to start and how it is going to end, and what are the business processes are there, and what are the important configurations or activities we need to do in the demand planning, and the demand planning functionalities, nothing but like interactive planning, statistical forecasting, macros, alerts, life cycle planning, etc. And how it is integrated to the other systems, and the advantages of the demand planning. These are the topics we are going to cover in this presentation. And if you have any questions, please ping me. I will unmute you so that you can ask the questions. I have kept you all into the mute. So to avoid the echo voice. So if you have any question in between, just please ping me in the chat. I will unmute you. Thank you. So first, what is the demand planning? Like why the demand planning? Basically, the demand planning is going to give the statistical forecasting values. So how it is going to work normally, we are going to take 36 months of history data, nothing but like a sales invoice data, and we are going to generate a forecast for next 24 months. So why we want to forecast? As we have discussed yesterday, because based on the forecast only, we are going to plan for the future requirements. Maybe if you want to extend a plant or increase the capacity or increase the vendors, everything based on this forecast information only we are going to do. So this is the base for our total supply chain management. So based on this base only, we can build based on the planning and capacity and purchasing, everything you are going to build based on this demand planning only. So in the demand planning, we need a specific software, or maybe some companies they are going to use the Excel also for forecasting the planning process. They are going to the Excel or some legacy systems, or we are recommending the SAP APO demand planning. Basically, these are the issues we can find in the normal forecasting process, like differences in the planned demand and actual sales. So using the Excel or some other legacy tool, we have forecasted, and we got a forecast information for January 2014 around 2000 quantity. But end of the January, if you see our actual sales, it is only 1600 quantity. Then using the tool, what happened? Like it is 20% inventory extra we have maintained. Or that time we got a sales some 2400. So here like we are going to miss 400 sales orders. So if you don't use a proper tool, then you will get a differences in our planned demand and actual sales. So both is problem only. One way you are going to miss the sales orders. So customer service levels we are missing, customer satisfaction levels we are missing, So we will not expect a repeated sales. And in another side, you are maintaining the inventory, excess inventory or loyal inventory. So that is the reason, like we need a proper tool to get at least 95% accurate forecast. So the demand planning, APO demand planning tool will support to get a 95% of forecasting values. So why other tools or Excel is not able to do, why demand planning is able to do? Because the demand planning is a more advanced planning tool. Here we have a lot of statistical algorithms are there. So using that one, we can generate a statistical forecast, and once we get a statistical forecast, system will give the error. So based on the error analysis, we can fine tune the forecast. So first level, generate a forecast. Next level, it will give the errors if any differences is there in the forecast. And the third level, you can fine tune the forecast. So there is a multiple steps are there. So that is the reason here we are going to get more accurate forecast. So normally the companies are facing in the forecasting, they are getting wrong forecasting values and bad forecast quality, and like sales and actuals are the difference. So maintaining the high inventory levels, like my forecast is 1,000 but actual sales is 500. So in this case I am maintaining 500 excess stock, like 50% of excess inventory or high number of stockouts. So I have forecasted as 1,000 but I got a real sales as 1,500. So in this case 50% I am going to miss. So to solve all these issues, we need to use a demand planning tool. So in the demand planning tool, SAP APO is the advanced one. So compared to Excel or other legacy tools, this is the best one. So it will improve the forecast accuracy. It will achieve high product availability. So all those things it is going to meet. And one more difference compared to the or legacy or Excel, this APO demand planning, this is having a lot of functionalities like interactive planning, statistical forecast methods, macros, alerts, life cycle planning, cannibalization, promotional planning, seasonal planning, consensus, collaborative, and customer forecast management. Like that, there is a lot of functionalities are there which are not able to get in a Excel or other legacy tools. So one is we can get more forecast accuracy. Another thing, we will get a lot of functionalities, and another beauty, we have a interactive planning screen. So in one screen you can access everything. So this is the reason the APO DP got a success in the forecasting tools. Okay, so basically the demand planning tool is going to do the statistical forecast, and it is going to support the other functionalities like aggregation, disaggregation, life cycle planning. Anyway, all these things will be covered under the separate slides in the same presentation. So the key benefits, it will improve the forecast quality compared to other tools. We are going to get more accurate forecast, and one tool for power and for the business users. So like for any kind of a users in our organization, one tool is going to support, and different regions, different countries, and different departments can able to access one screen and one tool. Say for example, like a salesperson is handling a specific product. So he can able to see here, okay, my product, what is the sales order, what is the forecast, what is the stock, whatever he wants, he can see here. And the marketing department, they want to see their group of products and for a specific regions. And demand planner, they want to see a regional forecast or global forecast or specific to a country or a customer. Our CEO wants to see a particular product globally, how much I am selling. So, like that, different departments or different people, different level, different regions, different countries can access the same tool, same page. But here we can control by authorization. Okay, Asia Pacific people can access only Asia Pacific data. Europe people can access only Europe data. Sales people can access only particular these products or particular these brands. So like that, using the authorization, we can control so that they will not disturb the others data also. We can give the change access or we can give the display access, anything. How they want, we can give it. So here we have the authorization, tight authorizations are going to be controlled so that we have the data also, we can give the guarantee for manipulations. So these are the advantages are there in this APO demand planning. Okay. Now demand planning cycle. So normally where the demand planning is going to start and where the demand planning is going to end. Like it's a end-to-end process for the demand planning. In SAP APO, demand planning, where it is going to start and where it is going to end, and what are the steps are there. In interviews, normally the first question they will ask you, okay, your client demand planning process, where it is starts, where it is end. What is your client demand planning cycle or business process? So we need to answer with this slide, with this help of this slide. So basically the demand planning is a monthly cycle. Every company, they are using the forecast a monthly cycle. It means every month we are going to take past 36 months history data and we are going to generate a forecast for next 24 months or 18 months or 36 months, depends upon the company. But most of the companies are following, taking the 36 months of history data and generating the next 24 months forecast. And even some companies can do 24 months history and 18 months forecast also. But most of the scenarios, 36 months history as a input and 24 months as a forecast. So every month we are going to generate a forecast for next 24 months. Then in this monthly cycle, so first we need to set up the master data and the transactional data. So as I told yesterday, a master data is nothing but I will give the example, product, or you can say as a material, or plant, customer, vendor, distribution center, or sales organization. So all these things we can call it as a master data and transactional data, which is going to represent the quantity. Those are transaction data. Say for example, a sales order. So how we can say sales order? January we have received 1000 quantity sales order. So it is representing the number. Or last month we sold a sales history data. So 500 quantity. So which are representing the number. Those are nothing but a transactional data. So first we need to set up the master data and the transactional data. Then the business users, they will analyze the data and if any corrections they are going to do here. Then using the SAP APO demand planning standard algorithms, we are going to generate the forecast. Once the system is generated a forecast, then sales and marketing team, they are going to add a promotion value. Once they added the promotion value, then the demand team and sales team and marketing team, finance, production, all the team monthly they have a call. That is, we can call it as a consensus meeting. In the consensus meeting, they will review and they will adjust the demand. All this is happening in the APO system. This is completely we are going to do in the APO system. And once the demand is finalized, we are going to release this demand to ECC system or SNP system. Say for example, client is not implemented SNP, they want to run the MRP in ECC, we are going to send to the ECC. Client have the SNP or PPDS, they want to do the MRP in the APO, then we are going to release to the SNP or PPDS. So these are the steps are there in a monthly cycle. Like in the detail level, first prepare a forecast environment, like a set up a master data and a transactional data. To run any tool, you need a master data and a transactional data. So first set up your master data, your transactional data. For what products, for what locations you want to do the forecast, that is your master data. So I need a 36 months history data to generate a forecast. So that is your transactional data. Then the demand planners, they will review the history and they will do any corrections are required. Then we are going to run the statistical forecast, and then sales and marketing team going to add the promotion value. In the consensus meeting, if any corrections are there, they are going to do, and finally releasing the forecast. So the advantage of this tool, whatever the activities are there, like this end-to-end cycle, we are going to do the automation. So I can set up a jobs or process change every month. First, take the sales history data from the BW and set up the master data. Then this is the manual thing, like demand planners manually they will do this activity. Then every month 10th, I will run a job or process chain so that it is going to generate a forecast. And every month 15, if they want to get a file from some legacy tool or from the Excel or from the A11, so we can load the promotion file. And again here manually they will review the data, and if any corrections they will do. And finally we are going to release by using a job or process chain. See, like a total demand planning, like all steps we are going to make it as a automation. Only the users, just they need to review the data and to take a corrective actions. So other remaining all the process we are going to make as a automation. Like normally the companies will expect everything as a automation. So we are going to do their demand planning process automation by using the SAP APO demand planning application. Only they need to review the results and take the corrective action. So maybe earlier 10 people are working for this demand planning application. So after implementing this one, maybe only 3 or 4 people is required. So like that companies can save the ROI, they will get a ROI like by reducing the headcount. And it is completely automation, and we are minimizing the manual activities, so the mistakes also will less. The same thing in the reality, how it is going to do, I will show one example. In the simple Excel format, I will show the same cycle, so then you can better understanding. So normally, say for example, like for a particular products and location, first we are going to take the history. Okay, since 36 months, this is selling like that, 160, 170, 180, 190 like that. Now using the APO demand planning, I have generated a forecast. So here it is a weighted average. So every month 10 is increasing. So my tool also given forecast like a 10 weighted average. So 250, 260, 270 like that. So based on the history data, system generated a statistical forecast. Once system generated a statistical forecast, then the marketing and sales team, they are going to add the promotions. Okay, Christmas, we are expecting a lot of sales. So then maybe they will give some promotion number as a some 50 or 60, some 100, whatever they want it. Then in the consensus meeting, all the teams have the meeting, like a sales team, marketing team, the demand planning, everybody. So they will review, okay, system is generated a 260 and promotion is this much. So if any corrections are required, they will do the corrections. Okay, maybe we will not sell 70 units. I think better we can reduce some 30 units. Like that, they will review and do the corrections. So based on that, this final forecast will calculate automatically. We are going to write a macro. So this is going to be calculated, A plus B plus C. So this is our final forecast, and this we are going to reach to the ECC or SNP. And we can populate the sales orders, and we can compare the sales orders also. Okay, what is the sales orders? Say for example, I have a 290 is a sales order. Okay, so my demand and my sales orders are matching. So for example, here if I get a sales order as a 350, then here I will increase it. Maybe I can put as a 120. So like that you can adjust your demand also. So like whatever we are able to see in the Excel, normally the companies are using this Excel and doing this forecasting process. The same thing we are going to do in the APO demand planning. So just like to give an idea, this is the way in the real time the forecasting process is happening. The same thing we are going to see in the APO system. Clear? So any questions as of now? Yeah, please let me know. I will unmute you before we are going to cover the APO demand planning functionalities. Any questions? Yes, please go ahead. I am going to unmute you all. Imran, Prashant, Rajnish, Sushma.
Kalyan, this is Rajnish here.
Yeah, Rajnish.
You have shown a separate row for sales order. Wanted to ask you, wouldn't the sales order be part of the forecast?
Basically, the sales orders we are going to use for comparison of the forecast. So, for example, January 2014, I have forecasted some 380 quantity. This is my future sales. So, normally we are going to get the sales orders like in December only for January also, so that we can compare it. Like it's a huge difference is there. So, I need to adjust my demand. Otherwise, I will miss some of the sales order. So basically, sales orders we are going to use for comparison of our forecast, because this is the reality and this is the assumption. So we are going to match the reality and assumption.
Prashant here.
Yeah, Prashant.
The sales order is the actual sales, right?
No, actual sales means like a like in the sale. First, we are going.
As in you forecasted 380 and instead you sold only 370. I mean you generated 370 sales orders.
No, this is
like actual sales.
This is always is going to be changed. Like now we are in the December, so by January maybe this number will be increase or decrease also.
But yeah, that's what I'm asking is, it's actual sales. It's not forecast, but rather the actual number of sales orders that you generated based on the forecast.
This is this is nothing but like till today we have received sales orders for the January.
Okay.
So maybe it will be vary like a daily. This number is going to update, so that like we can see, okay, this is we have forecasted. This is the real thing is happening, so that we can compare this both two.
Okay.
So that
what I understand is
suddenly
that, there is no fee. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because suddenly, say for example, January, the competitor have some issues, so they are not able to open the plant for a few days. So then our customer is given some sudden sales order. Now this is the 500. So that I can track it. Okay, there is some X reason I got more sales order. So better I will increase my forecast also. So that I can match this number. Correct? Otherwise, if you forecast it, maybe some X reason, if we get some sudden sales orders also, we cannot track it. So the tracking purpose, we need to populate the sales orders values also for future sales orders. Past anyway, we don't bother about the past. So only this is for the future. Got it?
So there is no physical relationship between sales orders and final forecast, right?
Yeah, like we are going to trigger the messages so that like users can see that one. Okay, if any difference like maybe 10% or 20% difference is there, we are going to send a alerts so that they will update the forecast. They will check first why we are getting the this much sales order. So then they are going to adjust the forecasting. Because like the competitor plant got closed and we got some sudden sales order. So these things maybe tool cannot catch. So these are the manual things. So we need to trace this and we need to update manually. So for that reason, we are going to compare the sales orders and forecast. It's just like a review of the forecasting. Clear or any questions? Prashant,
Yeah, clear.
Imran, Sushma.
Yeah, I'm clear.
Yeah. Based on the history, we are generating a forecast. Again, it's a recheck. Okay, I have generated a forecast, but I need to review the forecast. So normally the sales orders daily is adding so that we always cross check it. So in the future, what we are going to do, we are going to review this in the weekly basis, like January 1st week, January 2nd week, January 3rd week, and January 4th week. So January 1st week, we will see, okay, what are the sales orders, what are the forecasts. Okay, we are on the track. And in the January 1st week, we can see for second week also we are in the track. And second week, we will see. Third week, the forecast and sales orders are the different. So that we will tell to the manufacturing team, boss, instead of 100, so now produce the 200. So that we are going to match it. Or suddenly, some orders are cancelled. Like we have forecasted some 200, but some sales orders are cancelled. So then the forecast is, then we are going to tell to them, okay, reduce the forecast. So like that, on the weekly basis, we are going to review and we are going to control it. Because we don't know, sometimes like suddenly you will get a huge sales, sometimes you will cancel the huge sales also. Maybe sometimes it will happen. So that sometimes also we are going to track in the system. So that it's like a going to match everything at least 95%, not 100%, but at least 95% everything will be controlled. Okay. Anyway, like once we started in the system, yeah, definitely you will get more idea. So this is the important slide. So where the demand planning is going to start and where the demand planning is going to end and what are the steps are there. Anyway, once we did in the system, so maybe it will take 10 days to do this cycle. So then it will be more clear. So the same thing, the detail information, and these are the basic configurations or setups or activities in the APO demand planning. So you are working for the SAP PP. So before you are going to run our MRP or before you are going to use our PP, so first what we have to do, you need to set up the master data, then you need to set up some configurations, then we need to ready the MRP run. Or maybe if you are using some SD module, first we need to create a master data, then organizational structure, then you need to run the sales order, and you need to give the delivery invoice, all those things. The same way to generate a statistical forecast or use the demand planning, first in the system you have to do some configurations. So those are the configurations. The basic configurations are showing in one slide. Other than that, there is the other configurations also there, but these are the configurations are important for a basic cycle. So MPAS and planning area, storage bucket profile and planning bucket profile, master forecast profiles, planning books, macros, and interactive planning. Anyway, tomorrow onwards, we are going to start doing these configurations in the system. So I will show this PPT. I will tell, okay, tomorrow I will start creating a storage bucket profile. Then I will tell what is the storage bucket profile, why we are going to use in the demand planning, and where we can create this in the APO system. So that time we will see everything very detailedly. And now we can see the functionalities of a demand planning. This demand planning tool having a lot of functionalities. Yeah. Live cache is a memory for APO demand planning system. The reason is here we are going to see a global data in one screen. Like in interactive planning screen, we can see a globe. I want to see, okay, i5 phone in the Asia Pacific level, how much it is going to sell, or globally, what is the sales of i5 phone. So here you are going to access a huge data. So if I click i5 phone, if I want to see global data, if system is asking, like if it is executing for 5 minutes and if then it is giving the results, this is I don't want to expect it. The business users don't expect like this. So if they click, immediately they want to see. So for that one, SAP is specially designed a memory. It is called as a live cache. It is only for APO to improve the performance. So because of APO have a memory or database as a live cache, so that is the reason huge data you can see within a seconds in the front end. Whatever you have selected, you can see within a seconds here. The reason is it is having a special memory, specially designed for SAP APO. It's called as a live cache. Okay, Imran? And we are going to discuss future also more on the live cache, and I have a document on the live cache also. I will share you in the future. So now the functionalities, yeah, it's a basis activity. It's a completely ownership by basis team. We are not going to do anything. It is a completely owner by basis team. Only the thing we need to monitor it, like either live cache is on or off. Sometimes it is going to be off, so we need to ask the basis team to switch on the live cache. Maybe once a year or maybe in a year twice it will be happen, but normally it will not be disconnect or anything. Okay, so the first point is the interactive planning screen. So this is a key success and beauty of the APO planning tool. Like everything you can see in one screen. You can see a table, or you can see a graph, or you can see the table and graph. And graph also, you want to see a pie charts or bars or whatever you want, you can see. Because normally the planning tool or forecasting tool, they are much interested to see the information as a graphical, as a graphs. So you can see the table, you can see the graphs, you can see only table, you can see only graphs combination. So one tool, one page, you can see everything. That is the way SAP is designed this tool. So this is more or less as an Excel. like what are the Excel functionalities, everything we can apply here, like a copy paste. Like I copied here, copy this one, Control C and Control V in the APO demand planning, it is going to accept. I want to download a file from desktop to in this table. Yes, that is possible. I can write a macro. In the Excel, we are going to write a macro. Yes, here also you can write a macro for calculation. Or in the Excel, we are going to give a comments. For particular cell, we are going to give the comment. Yes, here also we can give the comment. So normally the people are using the Excel for forecasting. So it is having all Excel features and more advanced features also, so that they cannot feel they are working in a different tool. So they don't like, normally they will always like the Excel. So here we have everything as an Excel, so they will feel okay, they are using the similar tool. And statistical forecasting, like as I told, if we give the sales history data, system will give the forecasting. How it is going to do? Based on the pre-defined algorithms. Like SAP provided a univariant, a casual, or we can say MLR or composite. So it is given a different profiles. So based on this profile, we can generate a statistical forecasting. So SAP is given all formulas. Formulas means like we have 1,000 products. We have to generate a forecast for the 1,000 products. But you cannot expect 1,000 products are selling in the same line. Normally what happens, some products will sell constantly every month 10, 10, 10. Some products will sell as a trend, up and down trends. Some are based on the seasonality. Some are a combination of trend and seasonality. So like that, whatever the possibility are there in the sales. So SAP provided all the options. So whatever the products are selling constantly, apply the constant formula. Whatever the products are selling as a trend, apply the trend formula. Whatever the products are selling as a seasonality, give the seasonal formula. So like that, first you can group it, then you can apply the right formula, you will get a right results. And the results are correct or not, again we can measure by forecasting errors. Based on the errors, you can fine tune the forecast. Anyway, it's a big topic in the APO demand planning. So in the system, once we are working in the system, then you will be more clear on this one. And I have a good detailed document how exactly the calculations are happening, what are the trend, seasonality, and trend plus seasonality, what is the calculation, what is the formula, on what basis it is calculating, errors, what basis it is giving the errors. So everything I have a detailed formulas and Excel. So that is also I will provide you in the statistical forecasting topic. And LX is one of the functionality which is going to save lot of time and efforts to the business users. Say for example, like I told, we can compare the sales orders and forecast. So in the reality, if you want to compare particular product by product, what is the sales orders and what is the forecast? Is it possible? No. No, we cannot capture the data from the Excel. We will capture from the ECC system. From ECC system, we are going to capture that. That I am going to show you in the slide, Imran. There is a last slide in this presentation that is going to explain you about the data capture. So, like I told, we can compare a forecast and sales order. I have 1,000 products. So, 1,000 products. If you ask the user to check manually each product and location, okay, what is the difference between the sales orders and forecast? It will take 1 month time. So, to avoid this one, SAP provided a alert. We can write a alert. So the alert will give the message. System automatically will check. Okay, particular this product and location, the sales orders are greater than forecast, then it will give a message. So in the 1000 products, maybe 5 products sales orders are greater than the forecast. So system will give the messages. So the business user will check the 5 messages and they will correct the data. It will take 5 minutes of time. Imagine if you don't have this functionality, it will take hours or days for them. So like that we can save efforts, time for the business users. In the same time, we can say, okay, everything is going fine in the system. If you don't get alert means, okay, your sales orders or forecast are going in the same direction. There is no spikes. So like that we can make sure that. So not only this one, like that whatever the functionality they want, we can write a alert based on that they are going to get a messages. So how we are going to get the alerts? Based on the macros. There is a macros, same like in Excel. So we are going to use for the complex calculation, or there is other functionalities, this comparison of alerts and some other functionalities also, we can use this macros. Say for example in the Excel, my forecast is automatically calculating. Say for example now it is a 500. I will change this number as a 200. Then automatically this is going to be changed as a 600 because based on the formula. The same we can apply in the APO demand planning also. So APO demand planning also, we have a rows, forecast, promotion, a manual correction and the final forecast or total forecast. So system automatically, if we enter some values, system automatically will calculate our total forecast based on the macros. So that is also we are going to do in the APO. And life cycle planning. Normally, this is a product life cycle planning. So product introduction, sales will be slowly growth. One point of time, the sales is reaching maturity. Then maybe the sales will be slowly down. One point of time, maybe the product will be died. So this also we can capture in the APO application. Say for example, like I have a product. So I want to introduce the product in March 2014 and I want to disconnect the product in December 2014. I don't want to generate a forecast for next 24 months. For all the products, I am generating the forecast for next 24 months. But particular a product, we are going to stop by December 2014. So I don't want forecast after December 2014. So for that one, we can apply this phase in and phase out. So system automatically will control when you want to start a forecast, when you want to end the forecast. If you do the pre and post dates, system will stop after the date to generate a forecast. So like that we have a control. If you want to absolute some products, so you can give the date, system will control it. After December 2014, it will stop to generate a forecast. If you don't have the forecast, then automatically production also 0. And then there is another process in the life cycle planning. New product introduction. For example, Apple i5 phone. So the base funda taking the history data and generating the forecast. Apple i5, it is a new product. It doesn't have the history data. So how companies are managing the forecasting process? So for that one, they are following a life cycle planning option. It's a like modeling. So here you can take a reference product of the history. Like I can take i5, i4 phone history, maybe 120% or 150% or 80% based on the assumption. i5, i4 is selling 500. So maybe i6 I am expecting 600. So maybe you can take 120% of a i5 sales. So like that you can take old product history data. System will refer old product history data and it will generate a forecast for the new product. So if you have the new product, there is an option to generate a forecast without study by referring a similar product, and you can control when forecast should start, when forecast should end. And the promotions, APO demand planning have the standard to generate a promotion, or CRM I am using for the promotion. Like in SAP, there is a CRM is there, customer relationship management. So there also the people will generate a promotion. So we can call the promotion from CRM to APO. That is also we can do. Or if companies are using some legacy tool for the promotion, we can call from the legacy. Or if they want to load a file .csv, we can load the file also. And cannibalization, we can capture the cannibalization. Say for example, like this is a Coke 1 liter sales, and this is a Coke half liter sales. So Coke half liter is a $2, sorry, $1.50, and Coke 1 liter is a $3. Now in the Coke 1 liter bottle, they have given a promotion. Now Coke 1 liter is a only $2. I came to Walmart to buy the Coke 1.5 liter. I have half liter. I have seen the price. It is a $1.50. I have seen the price a Coke 1 liter. It is a $2. So in $0.50 only, I am going to get more half liter or more 500 ml Coke. Then I will buy this one. Instead of buying this one, I will buy this one. So that like this is a normal sales. Because of the promotion, the sales is going to be up. And this is a normal sales. Because of the promotion on this product, this sales is going down. So this is nothing but like a cannibalization. So we can capture this cannibalization in the APO demand planning. So that like next time if you are giving a promotion, so you have this reference numbers. Okay, if I give a promotion, normally I am selling 1000, but promotion time it is going to sell 1500. So I need to produce 1500. If I give the promotion on this product, so normal sales is this one is 1000, but the sales is going to down as a 500. So I don't want to produce 1000. I will produce only 500. I can control my inventory. So like that, you can organize your inventory. And seasonal planning, we can capture and we can configure the season. So particular a season, you will get a sales also relevant to your previous season. And consensus meeting, as I told, like all the teams, demand planning team, sales team, marketing team, and everybody have a meeting, and they will propose the one number. Okay, this is the final forecast, which we are going to release to the R3 and the S&P. So they will consider budgeting, promotions, everything. So based on that, they will do the changes, and finally we will get, okay, this is the final forecast. So like that, every month the meeting is happening. This is called as a consensus meeting. And collaborative, say for example, I have a key customer. So 30% of our revenue I am going to get from a customer A. So for that customer, I can give the access, like interactive planning access, I can give via internet. Via internet, I can give the access. So instead of I generate a forecast, he will give his forecast numbers. So based on his forecast numbers, I will do the production. So that whatever he given the forecast, I will supply that much quantity. So that is also possible using the collaborative demand planning. And coming to the integration, like a APO having the inbuilt BW server, and even if we have the external BW server also, we can get a data from the BW to APO. This is the way the demand is going to get. Like as I told, like to generate a statistical forecast. Just a minute. So, we are going to generate a forecast based on the sales history data. So, normally the sales history data is available in SAP R3 system. Like in SAP R3 system, as we have seen yesterday, we can have a sales orders, deliveries and invoice in the SAP SD module. So in SAP SD module, they are going to create a sales invoice data. So in APO, we have a BW system. So using this BW system, we can take sales orders from SAP R3 system to APO BW. From APO BW, we can take this as an input in the demand planning. Here we can generate a statistical forecast. See the data flow. In SAP R3 system, we have the sales invoice data. Using the APO BW, APO having the BW. So we can call this data, and here we have a sales history data. Based on that, we can use the transaction data and we can create a master data here. Then we can generate a forecast, and then the APO demand planning data you can store here. The reason is tomorrow if something is happened, the data here, I can call the data from here. It's nothing but again backup also. Like normally if you are using something, the client will first ask the question, what is the guarantee of my data? Where is the backup of my data? So that is the reason SAP provided a inbuilt BW server in the APO. So this we can use for the data extraction and data backup, and you can do the business reports also. So that is the reason we need a BW knowledge also in the APO. So that is the reason we are going to cover a BW knowledge also. But normally in the real world, you have a BW team also in the APO project. Normally they are going to take care of the BW, but always it's good to have the BW knowledge also. Yes, APO input, like it's the same like as a BW. How the external BW will act, the same way it is work in the APO. Like you have the info object, you have the info cubes, you have the data sources, everything we can see in the APO inbuilt BW. Or yeah, transformers, DTPs, everything it's same like as a BW. Now, say for example, like a client having a external BW system. Already you have the multiple R3 systems from the legacy systems. He is storing the data in the BW. So then I need not to call the data from R3. Just I can directly call the data from the BW to APO. That is also we can do it. Client ready keeping all the sales orders data in the external BW server. It's a different BW server, like external BW server, like a separate box. So then I don't need to call again from here. So directly call from here. If they don't have the BW, then you can call from the R3. There are both options. You can call directly from R3, or already they are keeping in some BW, so get it from the BW. So take input data, run the forecast, do the planning, add the promotion, consensus, everything, and final results, and park here. So that if something is happened also, again we can call back. Or you can send to the external BW so that they can get a report or backup also here. So this is the data flow. But anyway, slowly you will understand. So don't worry, in first day to understand everything is very difficult, even me also. So definitely it will take time, but it will give idea first. So what exactly we are going to do. And we can integrate R3 systems to APO, and we can integrate non-R3 systems also APO. So the core interface is a standard interface to integrate. This is more on SNP and PPDS and GATP. So ALE, BAPI. If it is a non-R3, ALE, BAPI, IDOCS. If you want to integrate R3, this is demand planning point of view. This is SNP, PPDS, GATP point of view. For SIP. Non-R3 is nothing but like legacy, maybe I2 tool, or like a Logility, or there is a lot of tools are there, maybe BAM or some other tools you want to use it. So those tools, whatever the non-SAP product. So that integration ALE BAPI. It's a standard SAP system, CIF, core interface. Live cache is a memory for the APO, because here we are using a global data. So to extract the data, like if I select 1,000 records, I want to see within a second. Yes, system will support you because of this live cache. And whatever we have discussed, the same in one page. These are the advantages of SAP APO demand planning. And this is a feedback from the client who implemented the SAP APO DP. So they have increased the customer satisfaction 96%, reduced the stockouts 95%, and more efficient product scheduling, lower set stock, blah blah blah. So these many benefits are there by using the APO demand planning application. So this is the presentation yesterday I have sent you. So now